Hello everybody, welcome back to another very exciting video here on my channel. We are getting towards the end of the year. With that being said, my birthday is towards the end of the year and actually it's in the month of October and the beginning of October. That means that my birthday is less than 2 weeks away and I want to go book shopping, of course, for my birthday. What's a better thing than trying to go through all of my books on my shelves, figuring out which books I want to get rid of and also which ones I potentially want to sell to half price books or get rid of to a My Free Little Library. So in today's video, that is what I'm doing. I'm going through and unhauling. I don't know how many books just yet, but by the end of this video, I will let you guys know. I feel like it's going to be a lot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. I think I want to do this a certain way. I did happen to stumble across a video. I don't remember her name, but I'll list her channel up here and down in the description. She always has like those massive read it or unhaul it videos, and I think that's where I originally got my idea to start that video as well. She did an unhaul video because she has a massive TBR. I'm talking like 600 plus books. I think my TBR is only high 60s to low 70s right now, currently, before going book shopping. So it is still pretty big, but it's not too big. And she did a video where she went through each individual shelf and picked out all the books that she just really wanted to get rid of. And there are some books that I already have out that I have had out on my shelves, or they're just like textbooks or other things that I just figured we'd go ahead and go over first, and then I'd get into each individual shelf, go through every single book. And if you guys like that, then I might start doing my unhauls like this, because I feel like this would be really fun to see how much is pulled off of my shelf, even though I'm not going to get rid of, I feel like, too much for my shelves, because majority of my books on my shelves are ones that I really want to keep, either try and read, or they're already ones that I have read. So for right now, like I said, I'm going to go through all the ones that are already off my shelf. Let me just tell you, there's a big pile down here on the floor. So some of these books, like I mentioned, are more textbooks or books that I had in school, maybe coffee table books, just some books that I stumbled across or they were brought to my house basically when my parents were getting rid of and are still getting rid of my childhood home, and I was going through some things. So I did take these home, and a lot of them will probably go to half price books. A few of them will be going to my little free libraries because I feel like they're much better for that. I don't feel like really getting rid of all of them to half price books. We're gonna start with some of the bigger books. First, I don't even know when I got this. This was back when I was still in school, maybe middle school, maybe early high school. I feel like more middle school, if not late elementary school, and we had Scholastic book fairs. This is an Egyptology book, or just Egypt World. I used to love Egyptology. I always wanted to be an archaeologist, or more so an Egyptologist, so I was obsessed with Egypt. You know, some people are obsessed with Titanic. I had Titanic and Egypt for some reason. I really enjoyed this book as a kid. I remember I've read it so many times. I just loved the little photos. I loved learning about it, but at the same time, I'm an adult, and yes, I do have a son, and I feel like maybe he would enjoy this. I also just don't want to keep a hold of it because I do have some books already set aside for when he grows up more and he can read these, and I just kind of want to get rid of this. And this one, I don't know if it's going to go into my free little library because this thing is honestly pretty big and all the little free libraries around me are pretty small, so I don't want to put this one in one. I think I'm just going to take this one to half price books. It feels good to actually be getting rid of some of these books that I've had for so many years. Next, I have a book that technically I bought because I was signing up for, it wasn't necessarily summer school, but extra classes online so that I could get the last couple credits so I could graduate a year early. And I picked astronomy for one, and I went out because I was obsessed with learning more. I went out and bought this textbook. I think I thrifted this originally, or this was from half price books. It's just a 21st century astronomy, stars and galaxy, and there are a few spots in here where I highlighted, so I'm not sure if half price books will take this, but if not, I will just end up donating this because, again, I think this is too big for my free little library. And also, who potentially might get this? I aced a lot of those programs, and I think it was because I was studying this book, even though I really didn't have to when they provided videos and stuff. That's just kind of how I was as a student, but it's just like a simple textbook. It does have answers to questions that they ask in here. They have like little question worksheet things in here. So again, I don't think I need it, and I really just don't want it sitting on my shelf. I'm not really interested in this anymore. Next, we're going back to another Scholastic book fair book, and I love this book. This was The Crossing. Again, I feel like this would be so great for my son. However, I just think putting this in a My Free Little Library would be so nice, so simple, because it's not too big, but also it has a lot of information, and I liked how each page was. Well, of course, I flipped to a page with no picture, but I enjoyed this book. I just feel like every book that I ever bought from the Scholastic book fair, I really enjoyed, and for whatever reason, this caught my attention one year, and I picked it up and I read it I think like 10 times. That's how much I enjoyed this book. So it's going into a My Free Little Library, which is exciting. Next, I do have this Garth Brooks anthology, and I will be getting rid of this to half price books because I'm so curious on what they would deem that this is worth, because it's not just a big book about Garth Brooks and like some of his songs and songwritings. It also has, I think, like 6 different CDs, and I have all the CDs. I just took them out of my truck because I never really listened to them that much. I enjoyed this book. I almost got the second book. I never read the entire book. I just liked Garth Brooks music back when I was driving driving my 91 Cheyenne, and it would come on FM radio. And then I was, I think, given this book for Christmas, and I did enjoy it. It was very expensive back then, but I just don't care about Garth Brooks anymore. I never really listened to these CDs in particular, and like I said, I'm just curious. I want to know if this would actually get me more than like $1 for getting rid of this, because it has so many CDs with it, and it's massive, and it's in pretty decent condition because I took care of a lot of my stuff. So I would love to get rid of this in a free little library, but also I feel like this one book I'm gonna kind of be selfish on because it's my birthday and I just really want to get rid of it, and I want to know how much it might bring in. I know that sounds terrible. This book, I haven't fully made up my mind. It is, again, like a textbook in a way, but I just bought it. I might keep it until it kind of runs out, like the year is up. I'm not gonna say the reason why I bought it because right now it's not necessarily the time. It is an ASVAB book. I did mark on this. I don't know if I could even get rid of this to Half Price Books because there are a couple things that I underlined and highlighted. However, if I don't end up getting rid of it and or including it at all to Half Price Books, or they don't accept it, I'll probably just donate this one as well because I feel like somebody could use this one, and I don't necessarily want it getting ruined because of how big it is. And in my free little library, it would take up so much room. So I feel like donating this one would be better to a local and more like less expensive thrift store, and then that way if anybody's, you know, in the high school level and they're just curious or they have to take the ASVAB, maybe they can get this and maybe it will help them. I had the world's hardest test possible, and when I say that, I know that for a fact because every kid around me was going over their answers, and for the things that I wanted really high scores on for certain reasons, all of those people had really easy electrical questions and stuff, and I had the worst questions possible. So this book did not necessarily help me, and I kind of wasted my money, and I was stressed about studying, but at the same time I still did really great on the ASVAB, and I think it would be helpful. I just don't think it's really that important for me to keep, but I don't know. It's one of those where I'm mixed in my mind because there's a possibility that if I ever wanted to redo anything to get a higher number, I might refer back to this and study some more. So it's up in the air, and like I said, it will probably just be donated. Next, I have this Reader's Digest. This is also from Half Price Books. I have no clue when, but I'm pretty sure I bought it at the same time that I bought I think it's like 100 years of photographs or something like that. You'll see it when I go through my books on the shelf and I get rid of some because it will be on the bottom shelf. It's with my coffee table books. This one I used to like look through every once in a while, and it's not that I don't enjoy it. There are some really cool things in here, but I just don't feel the need for it, especially since I have the photography version of it, or at least I think the photography version has pretty much the same events. There are some things like when Gone with the Wind first aired and The First Man in Orbit in 1961. We have the death of Marilyn Monroe. We have even in 64 the United States entry in Vietnam War. There's so many interesting things in here, so this is another one that I would love to get rid of to Half Price Books, kind of return it where I'm pretty sure I bought it from because I was obsessed with like coffee table books on Titanic, Egypt, and just like history in general. I still am just a little bit, but more so I'm kind of like toned down on Titanic and Egypt, and I still am big on history when it comes to like war stories or military stories books. That's just a part of who I am. I love the military in general and our history as a country, and I have a lot of history books in general, so I don't think I really need this one, and I'm just thinking about just getting rid of it. This is my final like textbook random nonfiction book, I guess I could say, or reference book. This one, again, I have no clue where this even came from. It doesn't necessarily have a Half Price Books sticker on it, but it doesn't say Scholastic. Again, it's Egyptology. This is just Egyptian mummies, and it has some pictures in it. I don't know. It's got some references to it and some really good information. I did read this maybe once or twice, not too often. It's one of those that I totally forgot I had until I seen it, and then it brought back more memories. But this one, I haven't decided if it's going to be my free little library or if it's going to go to Half Price Books just yet. I just know I don't want it anymore. Next, I have 3 little kid books that are definitely going in the my free little libraries. First, we have When the Storm Comes. This is a part of the, what is it, Dolly Imagination. I actually thrifted this from a Goodwill for $1.99. It's going into my free little library. My son loved it, but he just doesn't read it anymore, and really there's no point to it. Then when we first bought our house and moved in, we got a package randomly on our doorstep, and it was through our loan company for the veterans. Sent our son specifically a little book about monsters, and he got a little monster stuffed animal, a monster coloring book, and crowns, and I think also dog treats because they knew we had a dog. It was such a cute little thing, but my son does not like this book. He says it's scary. He loves his little monster stuffed animal, but he does not like this. So I was like, okay, for once I'm not going to pair the monster with the book since the monster itself is not in the book. So this one will definitely go in on my free little library, and maybe somebody else will actually enjoy it and not find it scary. And then we also have Golly Gump Swallowed a Fly. Our son does not really enjoy this book, and we were kind of given this book in a way. It was like to choose what books we wanted, go through a box. If we wanted any, pull it up. And I remember this from when I was a kid. He just didn't like it, and I thought this was so much different growing up. So I don't mind that he's getting rid of this. Plus, he's really excited. He wants to go to the free little libraries and see if he can find a book. Next, I have 2 books for my parents, or more so for my father. And one of these will go to Half Price Books. The other one will go to to my free little library. We have two different Clive Cusslers. This one is the Grey Ghost, and then we also have the Assassin. The Assassin will go in my free little library. I just feel like it's so much better of a size to go in, and then this one I'll just get rid of to half price books. In a way, it'll be his little birthday gift to me. They wanted to give it to me so I could just get rid of them, maybe in a free little library or just in general, so mine as well. Next, I have a really fun series that I want to get rid of because I tried reading this, I think 2 different times. I DNF'd it. It's the only book I have DNF'd this entire year, and I never got farther than the first maybe chapter of the book, and I know that's not much. It's also my most exciting book series to ever get rid of. It is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, minus the final book, which is The Eagle's Talon. I think that's the only book out that I don't have in this stack. I am getting rid of this to half price books. I'm to the point where I just want to get rid of it. I don't ever want to see it again. I don't ever want to stumble across the series. I thrifted, I think 90% of these, except for this final book, I think I got from thrift books. Everything else I found within thrift stores out in Las Vegas, and I thought the series was going to be so good, and I just couldn't get into it. So I'm so sorry, but I'm so glad to finally get rid of it. Next to half price books, because I want to see also if they will still take these. If not, I will either donate or just throw into my free little library. More so donate because of the weather. I have The Emperor's New Groove. This is a VHS tape. We have a VCR. My son is actually currently watching Homeward Bound, Lost in San Francisco on the VCR. I remember that I had Kronk's New Groove. That was on DVD. I totally forgot because that was on DVD that we also had on VHS The Emperor's New Groove. So I bought this, I thrifted this, I think for like 99 cents at a Goodwill, and I'm just gonna get rid of it. I want to see if half price books will take it. If not, like I said, I'll just donate it back. That was my mistake. Next, I have 3 books that were actually in an unhaul video, probably either at the beginning of this year or the end of last year, and half price books did not take them for the most random reasons in my opinion, so they are going in my free little libraries only. We have Maybe Now by Colleen Hoover. I spent so long finding these covers because I enjoyed these covers, and I actually ordered this from Amazon. It came from a library. Apparently half price books will not take library books, so they took the entire series minus this book, which kind of sucked, but it's going into my free little library because what else am I supposed to do with it besides donate, and I'd rather just give it away for free. We have 2 books from the Harry Potter series. We have The Prisoner of Azkaban and also The Sorcerer's Stone. I ordered these from thrift books. I didn't really pay that much attention, and I was given 2 books without a dust jacket, also 2 different sizes. I didn't know they had a mini size of the hardbacks. Half price books won't take books without a dust jacket, and thrift books already refunded me my money for this because it was like an honest mistake, and I kind of just explained to them that I thought I was getting the dust jackets more than anything and also just the same size. They completely refunded me, so I'm gonna give these away to a free little library because I don't need to make money off of these. Even though I once tried to get rid of them to half price books, that was more because I was taking all my books there. It was just out of convenience, not so much that I wanted to make money off of it. I feel like I'm losing light, so I'm probably gonna have to turn on this really bright light, but now we are going to move to my bookshelves. Here's my first bookshelf. I hate to say this, but a lot of these books I have read, and most of them, if not all of them. I think this actually whole shelf is stained. However, we are going to go through each and every book. First, I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Absolutely love that book. That is the first book I've ever read from V.E. Schwab, and I really want to get into more of her books. I just haven't. Then we have my Kenneth Opel series. I absolutely love this series. I recommend it. It's YA, fantasy, sci-fi. Then I have Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Of course, everybody already knows what those books are about. I just read Iron Flame, I think a week ago, and I absolutely love both of them. 5 and basically a 6-star read. Then we have my most favorite series from Veronica Roth. I do in fact love the Divergent series, and I just read 4 and found it not too many years ago. However, Carve the Mark and The Fates Divide is my all-time favorite duology from her, or just series in general. I highly recommend that series, and I will be keeping it, of course. Then we have my Adrienne Young books. Again, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and keep these. Sky in the Deep was probably one of my favorites from her. This is a duology, and then technically this is a whole series, but this is the order that I say to always read it in because you have a spoiler and Saint for Fable and Namesake. These are the only 2 books on the shelf that I have yet to read. It is Powerless and Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I don't have any other books in the series. I just got Powerless in January and Reckless actually for Christmas, so I have not tackled those just yet. I've been trying to tackle other books, and then I just read The Hunger Games. I will be keeping those, and be on the lookout for the 2 prequels. And then this book, this final book on the shelf, this is Darkwood by M.E. Breen. I love this book so much. This was a book that I lost when I was younger. My mom actually bought it from thrift books way back when, and I just really enjoyed this, so this will be staying as well. This shelf is a mixed shelf. I have read a lot of these books, but some of them I have not gotten to, and I feel like when I buy more books, I will be trying to reorganize all my shelves. First, we have my Marissa Meyer collection. I have read the Renegades trilogy and also Heartless. I really enjoyed those 4 books all in themselves. I have yet to read Cindercrest and Winter. I'm on the lookout for the novellas as well. I feel like I'm going to love that series. Then we have The Hobbit. I have yet to read it, but I really want to get into The Hobbit and all of of The Lord of the Rings. And then we also have Red Rising. I won't be getting rid of this book because I have not yet read it, but I think I'm mainly going to be trying to read it and stick with the original trilogy, I do believe. The Unbecoming Amara Dyer, I just picked this up not too many months ago, probably at the end of last year. I thrifted it for 25 cents and I will be keeping it and reading it and seeing if I like it. A lot of people here recently on YouTube have been unhauling it, so I'm kind of a little discouraged, but I feel like I'll end up loving it. The Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber, I love this series and I'm on the lookout for her Once Upon a Broken Heart series. What I contemplated is the Infernal Devices getting rid of potentially. I do have this book next on my TBR. It's Clockwork Prince. I have read Clockwork Angel, but I have not read these two books just yet. I am trying to get to this book this month. At the end of this month, I only have about a week left, so I want to finish the book I'm currently reading and then hop into this one, see if I like it, and then we'll see if I actually get rid of the series or continue to collect and read more of them. This might be my one and done trilogy from her though. Next I have House of Salt and Stars and also House of Roots and Ruin. I read this I think last year, if not the beginning of this year, and I'm currently halfway in between House of Roots and Ruin, so these will be staying and I'm on the lookout for the 13th child. Then we have Marie Lu's Legend Prodigy Champion and also the Young Elites. This is a series in itself, a start to a series. I want to find book 2, The Rose Society, and also book 3 for my birthday. I love this series so much more than this, and I'm also contemplating, these are a maybe right now, I'll leave these for a maybe, but I've contemplated getting rid of these. I did enjoy these, but not necessarily that much, and then when I compare them to the Young Elites, I just feel like I could get rid of these way faster than this series. Then we have The Cruel Prince. I have not read this series or even ACOTAR, but I will be keeping all of this. Same with Red Queen and Glass Sword. I'll be on the lookout for those, but I have not read them. Don't even get me started. You already know this is my favorite book of 2024. I have been dying to find book 2. Whenever that comes out, I will be reading it, so I will be of course keeping this book as well. Here's a good shelf for me actually getting rid of some items. So the first book on the shelf is actually The Last Thing He Told Me. I just thrifted that book not too many months ago, but for whatever reason I just feel like I almost don't want to read it, so that's kind of a little issue I have in my head. I do want to give it a try because I've heard good things about it. This Nancy Bush, The Neighbors, I got this out when we were stationed in Las Vegas. I got it for a garage sale and I did try reading it. I thought the overall concept was intriguing, just the book itself was a little bit boring or just not well done, so I will be getting rid of this. Maybe this one will go to a free low library. Then I have One of Us Is Lying. I just tackled this at the beginning of this month and I really want to get rid of it. I did not like it. This was one of the books that I had constantly been putting off and never wanting to read. I just got tired of her books and I never even read one. I just got tired of hearing about them, so I will not be buying any more books from her. This is my one and done, and I'm glad I at least finally got to it. It's just annoying that I didn't enjoy it. The Box in the Woods is also a maybe. I really think that I would enjoy this because of how the inside looks. I just think the concept of this book would be pretty intriguing. However, I think this is book 4 in the series. I've never come across the first book. I don't know if I'm really going to try and prioritize picking the first book up when I have so many other books that I would love to get to before this. So this is a very big maybe on my shelf. I have debated, I think for almost a week now, if I should get rid of it or not. I'm gonna wait just a little bit more until I'm ready to go for my birthday, and then I'll decide if I'm actually going to get rid of this. So this is a high potential. Verity by Colleen Hoover, I really enjoyed. That's my only Colleen Hoover book that I am currently keeping. If I want to read any more of her books, I am just going to go to the library and get them from there. Blood Sisters, I have not read just yet. I also got that from a garage sale out in Las Vegas, and I've heard really good things about it, but also some people have been unhauling it. All of my Colleen Cobble books, you already know I'm going to keep them. She's Christian. These are mystery Christian with a subplot of romance. Absolutely love them. I will be on the lookout for book 3 in the series and books 2 through 4 in this series. All these other ones, this is a standalone and this is a trilogy, and I've read every single one of these except for this one because I just thrifted it for $1.99 at Goodwill. These Silent Woods I've read and I will be keeping. The Woman Outside My Door I've read and I will be keeping. The Store by Bentley Little will be going. This will not be going into a free low library because there's something terrible that happens at the end that I refuse to give potentially in the hands of children, so I will be giving it to Half Price Books, so you have to physically buy this book in order to read it. The Paris Apartment, if I don't read that soon, I might get rid of it. I am so over honestly trying to read this book. The Guest List I will be keeping for now. If I happen to read this and not like it, I might get rid of both of these. And then we have all my Frida McFadden books. The only one I haven't read is The Tenant. I love all these these books. They were pretty interesting, and I like how fast-paced and simple they are. I feel like I can fly through them. The End of Her by Sherry Lapina, this book in particular, I really loved. It was probably one of my first books I ever really read for thriller that I truly wanted to share with people, because otherwise I just kind of read them and then got rid of them. Don't Let Her Stay, I just read. I really enjoyed this book too. Originally when I picked this up, I thought it was the same author as her because they look similar. Finally, we have The Girl on the Train. I picked that up because I seen it all the time in thrift stores, and I really enjoyed this book as well, so I will be keeping that. Next, we do have my Stephen King collection, which isn't that big, but these were all books that my mom gave me, and I will be keeping Christine. I have read that. I have not read Different Seasons, but I heard that's a mock of multiple different tales, or like little stories put in one. Needful Things might be that mock of different stories. Those two I haven't read. Christine, I do have one duplicate on my shelf, and it is Christine, and it's only because this copy is starting to fall apart and I wanted my own copy. I did read The Stand and tackled that I think last year, and that was a big accomplishment, and I am going to keep it. I do love the copy I have. And then I did just get this book from my mom. She went to a library and bought it for I think like $1 or $2, and it is Insomnia by Stephen King. I have yet to read this. It is pretty chunky, but not as bad as The Stand. Now we have a miscellaneous shelf. Some of this is Christian, some of it is war stories or like military style, and then just some other books are just the most random books. First, we have Ender's Game. I will be keeping that. I haven't read it just yet, I don't believe. We have The Midnight Library. I did enjoy it, but I have also tossed up getting rid of it or not. It wasn't bad. I like the concept of it. I just don't think I was intrigued. If I ever reread it, maybe I'll decide then. Then we have Richard Hammond's On the Edge. I have yet to read that. That is on my 25 books I want to read in 2025. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I just got it when I thrifted The Last Thing He Told Me. I have not read it just yet, but I have heard that some people really do not like that book, so I don't know. We'll see if I like it or not. The Shack and also The Well are both Christian books that I really loved and I recommend. All the Light We Cannot See, I loved, and I will be keeping that book as well. Cloud Cuckoo Land, haven't read. I did buy it because I loved All the Light We Could Not See. That was a 5-star book, so I am going to see if that book is interesting. It is on my 25 books I want to read in 2025, so hopefully I will be reading it by the end of this year. Breaking the Code, I haven't read just yet. It's one of those that's been on my shelf for so long, so if I don't tackle it within maybe the next year or so, I will probably definitely get rid of it. Just haven't made up my mind yet. Ashes in the Snow, I found in a My Free Little Library in Las Vegas right before we moved, and I thought it was so interesting, and when I just looked it up on Goodreads when I was thinking about getting rid of it, I seen it had a really high rating, so I'm more intrigued to read it now than I ever was. The Fault in the Stars, I will be keeping for now. I've gotten rid of all the other John Green books I've ever had, and I still contemplate getting rid of that. Sarah's Key, The Legend of Story County, both of those I will be keeping. Those were both 5 stars. Love them. However, Where the Crawdads Sing, I just tackled this not too many months ago, and I thought it was okay. I just didn't enjoy it that much, and I never watched the movie, and I thought, well, if I watch the movie, if I end up liking the movie, maybe I'll keep the book. And I've just kind of sat on this book, and I think I'm actually just going to get rid of it. Same with Mulberry Hollow and Riverbend Gap. Both of these were actually, I guess, given in a way when my husband's grandmother died, and they are Christian. They're like a Christian romance. I wouldn't be as interested in them as I am like the Colleen Cobble stories, so I'm just going to get rid of these two as well. Maybe somebody else will absolutely love these more than I will. All the Tea in China, I just read not too long ago. I'll be keeping that, and of course the Elsie Dinsmore books, and if I ever collect any more from this series. We have The Giver Quartet. I only have to read Sun. It's not supposed to be this way. This is a Christian one that I've considered getting rid of. I have not read this just yet. I feel like this book in particular, I really need to tackle it or try and read it before getting rid of it, so we will see. I'll keep it for now. Then we have 6 Hours One Friday. I will be keeping this. The Chronicles of Narnia, of course, keeping that. I love my edition that I have. And then we have Maul, for the most part, besides this Dale Earnhardt, and The Gold of Exodus. We have all my war stories or military stories. I will be keeping every single one of these. I love them all. Same with the Dale. I will be keeping that. I love this book and The Gold of Exodus. The only book that I considered getting rid of is The Hotel Nantucket. This is the only book from her I actually enjoyed to a point, but there's a part of me that would love just to get rid of it as well. You know what? Let's just get rid of it. Who cares? This is a really fun shelf, and I'm so sorry for everybody who thinks maybe that I will be getting rid of any of these books. This is my Nancy Drew collection for now. I am still working on switching out all of these newer ones, but more so just getting all the way to 100. And we have The Lost Files of Nancy Drew. A lot of those books you can find, but you can't find them with the postcards in the back. I got that brand new. I don't know when, but when I was little, and I will be keeping that. The same thing applies to my Harding Boys. It's a lot smaller of a collection, but more of the older style, less of the new one. I only have one new one left. These I will definitely be keeping. Then I have a Bible journal, an actual study Bible, a box for my Bible I use now. My actual reading journal is actually a binder. And then I have a collection of books. Right down there you can see the 100 Days in Photo photographs. That's the book that I was talking about. I am keeping that. I'm keeping a Titanic book below it, F-16 books and muscle cars and other aircraft books that we will be keeping. This is a collection of more of my husband and my little coffee table books. This is all of them. So this whole thing will just be keeping, and maybe I'll try and put them somewhere else, maybe the entertainment center. I never really realized how little I wanted to get rid of books until majority of the books I wanted to get rid of were already off of my shelves. This is my shelf of older books for the most part. There are some more kiddie-ish books over here. We have 2 books for gardening. All of these books, all of the older ones, I will not be getting rid of. I do have an Egyptology book, the Egyptians, right there. That is one of the ones that I am keeping out of the 60 million I had. I do have Treasure Island and Little Women. Those are more classics. We have another Egypt book and a Titanic book right here. Then we have my Mary Downing handbooks besides the Familiars, Black Beauty, and the Beauty just in general by Bill Wallace. We have a photography book and then more Agatha Christie's with hieroglyphics. We're keeping all of this. I have been working my way through my older books, reading certain ones. I've completed a lot of the Agatha Christie ones. I have completed a majority of the older books, but there's a few that I still have left to read. So I'm tackling it bit by bit, but it just takes a lot longer because of what they are. Now we have this fun shelf as well. This is half read, half not read. We have all my Harry Potters. I'm just looking for the first book, but I have contemplated getting rid of The Cursed Child. I hated this book so much. This should have never been made. So I might honestly get rid of it and just have the original Harry Potter series. Then we have the Inheritance Cycle, Aragon, Eldest, and Brisinger. Even though I love the size of this book, I'd rather have the more first editions style, so I might get rid of Brisinger just because it's bigger, but for now I'll hold on to it unless I find the other 2. Then we have my Percy Jackson series. I haven't read Percy Jackson just yet. I have the first book on my 25 in 2025. I do hope to finish that by the end of this year. However, I'm not necessarily stressed about reading that. And then we also have the Trials of Apollo. I'm just missing the 5th and final book of that. I thrifted all of those at once, and I'm hoping that the series is really good. If not, I will just get rid of those, but I want to at least tackle them or try and read them first. Next, we have my quote-unquote romance shelf, I guess you could say. I have a lot of Nicholas Sparks. I used to love his writing, and there's just a few times where I just haven't liked a couple of his books, but for the most part I really enjoyed his books. I'll be keeping all of these and even some of these paperbacks. However, the last song I do actually have, or I found a thrifted this hardback, so this might go in a free little library. If not, this will just go to Half Price Books. This also came from Josh's grandmother after she died, and the same with The Best of Me. This one, even though I knew I had The Best of Me down here, I was thinking, oh, if I liked her copy more, or if it was more of a first print, I'd rather have her copy because it was more of a like sentimental reason. But I ended up liking, since this says like special praise and had the sticker on it, I liked my copy more. It was more of a first print, so less of that stuff. So I hate to say this, but I will be getting rid of this one as well. I will be keeping Dear John. I used to have a similar size book, but it was a hardcover and it wasn't this style. I've never seen Dear John. I did read the books years ago and I got rid of it in Las Vegas, I think like 2021 or 2022. I want to thrift Dear John, but I'd rather have it this size for the paperback or the hardcover. This also came from his grandmother, so for right now I'm going to keep on to it until I find the other one. Emily Henry, I'm going to be keeping on to her books. Same with the Unhoneymooners. For Lucy Score, I have read Forever Never and Rock Bottom Girl. I haven't tackled the Things We Never Got Over or the Knock 'Em Out series just yet. I've heard mixed opinions about certain books from that series. I loved Rock Bottom Girl, however, Forever Never, I actually did not like that book, and I will be getting rid of this book. I actually ended up last year buying it for my birthday at Half Price Books, and this year I'm going to get rid of it to Half Price Books for my birthday. The book cycle is complete. And next we have this miscellaneous shelf in a way. We have my Stephanie Meyer over here, so mainly we have Twilight and also The Host. The Host I've considered getting rid of. I have on my 25 list of 2025. I will be trying to at least start it and see if I want to read it. If it's not really good, then maybe I will get rid of it. But right now is not the time. I haven't tackled it just yet. Then we have my Beautiful Creatures series. I love this series. It's a good YA fantasy series, and I happened to stumble across another book from these authors, and I think it's like the cousin in the series. It's like a spin-off series in a way. I did not pick it up. I did not want to tackle anymore because I felt like this series was a good one and done from this author or these authors. Then we have Archer's Voice. I will be keeping that for now. I enjoyed it a little bit, but it just wasn't what everybody hyped it up to be. So we'll see if in the future I want to get rid of it. Every Summer After, I just thrifted not too long ago, and I did get to it this summer. Doesn't mean I won't read it in the winter or even next summer, but I just haven't gotten to it. If you had been with me, I just tackled last month, and again, I will be keeping that. Flock, listen, I don't know how I feel about that book. I am a Christian and I enjoy Christian romance more. I just don't like very dirty books, let's just say. And I don't care, that's just a personal opinion. However, Flock I found in a thrift store in Las Vegas because it said it was in the YA fantasy section. section. It has come to my conclusion after seeing things about the series that it's not YA, nor is it really fantasy, and I don't know how I feel about it, but everybody says Exodus destroyed them, so I'm very intrigued. I will be keeping that book, trying to read that, and also trying to get the second book in the series. I will be skipping parts in that book, I do believe, because obvious reasons. Then we have To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I enjoyed that series a little bit. I think for 2022, for Valentine's Day, I did a reading vlog and read them all, and I kind of enjoyed them. They brought me too much back to my high school years, and I just didn't care, and I really wanted to read the Summer I Turned Pretty series. However, thinking about how this series went, I don't think I'm really going to enjoy that series that much. Maybe I'll thrift that series or get it from the library if I really want to read it. But this series in particular, I'm actually going to unhaul this entire set, even though I went out of my way to find a hardback cover of To All the Boys I Loved Before and got rid of my paperback. It is okay. My cycle is complete with this series. I'm getting rid of this and I'm okay with that. And then we have An Ember in the Ashes and also Air. Just picked up Air. I'm so intrigued to get to that. I really want to read it just now. I picked it up at a bargain bin. I think it was $5. Same with Five Broken Blades, but they were 35% off, so they were around like $3.50 I think. And I will be keeping all of those, and also A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. I do want to find for my birthday the full size that I have been looking for multiple years now, or a year now. I want to find the full size book of Game of Thrones and the rest in the series, but more so the first book, so I can read that book and go into the second book and then progress into each book as the series goes on, if it ever also gets finished, because I read part of the first book, never got to finish it because I didn't like the mass market paperback I had, and I wanted that size in particular after I thrifted it, and that is where we're at now. So here's how my bookcases are looking. Not that empty. There are some spots. I definitely need to redo everything. I'm thinking about putting my Nancy Drews and Hardy Boys back on the top, and like I said, maybe putting these in the entertainment center out in the living room, moving these somewhere else also, so I don't know, put my older books maybe back up at the top and just rearranging. But I want to do it after I go thrifting and half price books shopping and everything like that for my birthday, so I also know what books I picked up. Tell me if this is a good idea or not. I've considered making, for the most part, it would be one in like a half a shelf, making it my red bookshelf and then having like my TBR on 2 shelves. I feel like that would be really nice, really easy. I just don't know if I really want to go through with that. We'll see what else I pull out, but for the most part, this is all the books that I'm thinking about. Let me go ahead and count them up. I'm getting rid of 33 books if you do not include the ASVAB book, either 2 in my free little library, donations, and half-price books, and also 1 VHS tape. I feel like that's pretty good. I know a lot of these were just either a couple duplicates and or books that I was given, and I'm just kind of turning around and getting rid of them because I don't feel like I'm going to actually read them. And then a lot of these were textbooks and other random books that I had when I was younger, coffee table book style. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for when I go shopping for my birthday and also my thrifting vlog. Of course, I want to go to a My Free Little Library. I was going to go after this video, but it just started pouring even though it wasn't supposed to, so I might not get to it because I wanted to walk more than drive around. We'll see. Maybe I can do it another day. I will definitely have my book selection a little bit more separated, so I know which books in particular I'm taking there and which books I'm not taking there. I hope to see you in another video here on my channel, and as always, God bless.